word. So again, the apocalypse is not what we think. Apocalypse just means to reveal. So these are the revealed measure that have gone up. These ones have gone up. And I've already seen this for many years now. The Spirit's already told me, going like, you gotta go up to come down. You gotta comprehend up. You gotta know the language of commerce or the language of merchandise, which is in the hold of the ship. Any vessel will not leave the harbor without merchandise. There's no way to exchange. What are you doing? You need to infill the hold. Cough. Conception. You have to conceive to birth. Kuf. Now you're fully filled up as constituted. Now the constitution leaves the docket, and now it becomes a celestial concept, reality, however you want to form that word. So that word means to swell, to rise. It's the rise of the sea, and actually its own definition, it means the rise of the sea. So now we have this sine wave language of a rising and a falling of a swell. All right. It also means wealthy and enlargement. What's coming in is the wealth of beyond to fulfill the up, so they can bring this measure forward as the true government of the world. And I'm speaking this prophetically right now, as it already is. Tada Rabbah, for the opportunity to collapse a thing upon a thing, for the establishment of the intention. Mother and father wed as one, fully constituted, as love is now made. Now they stand as the contract of sacred oath once again. I know that you're maybe not connecting with the vibration of this word. I don't really care. The gift is already open, and I'm just pulling it down to say, right? This is my job description is. Carrie's already back engineering what I'm doing. If you spend enough time with Carrie, she back engineers what I do, and this is the organicness of our relationship. Our connection is exactly this. I edify her, she edifies me. We exhort one another, and then we climb together, right? And so we don't. Our heart is not to leave anyone behind, right? I may come from the top rung, and she's coming from the bottom rung, and I don't mean that in any.
I know where my lane is. I'm good.
But they all fit. You cannot have a top rung without a bottom rung. And I'm not saying that as a derogatory, and she's not bottom rung at all. She is full top rung. She's a top shelf. But her gifting is in teaching how to come up the rungs to know up.
Well, when you turn the ladder upside down or upside right, they look the same.
It's the circle. She's just on her circle.
Not.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Same thing. She's just doing her job description.
Oh.
So in this vibration here, in the Chaldaic and in the Arabic, it characterizes a state which is passed through fire.
AKA Chaldean, Akkadian.
Akkadian, yeah.
So
that means they're passing through fire. It means to purify, spotless, without vice, innocent, which abstains from evil. Again, what is evil? Well, that's just missing the mark. So this is the transition of passing through fire. This is up. This is all in the celestial sea of moving to the courtroom. This would be center stage of the integration. When I did this is kind of, again, it's difficult to tell, but you're in between the bench and the bench, and this is where you're in contention. This has to be resolved right here. So this arc, that's the solid line, can come back down and say, that's the judge where he would sit. That's where you're articulating your resolve as counsel, right? You're giving counsel right here. You come into one conclusion, and now you've become the master. The maiden voyage is the same word for virgin. You've crossed your maiden voyage as Emmanuel, the name of untouchable, the virgin child, the virgin birth is now restored through conception. It's that kind of a language. Hope I'm making sense.
Can I share something regarding that passing through fire?
Sure.
An analogy that we would get with the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being in the fiery furnace and they didn't get touched is because they were, the analogy or the allegory there was that they were the same frequency as the flame.
Same frequency. You're untouchable.
The flame didn't see it as something to consume or to burn because they were already a burning one.
It's just a frequency. Fire is just a frequency. It's hot until you realize you're hot, right?
If you're a seraphic messenger, then you're already vibrating at the level of fire and light.
It's just a calibration of what it is as an opportunity. That's all. Everything is an opportunity. When
you're more wave than particle.
Yes, you're more swell when you know how to rise yourself as to be engorged. You start creating your reality by speaking it in this, and this is the part that we're learning, we're teaching, sharing from this perspective. Your constitution allows you to speak it through your sephirot, or your the Aramaic, into your own writing, your own ketubah, and so you're writing your own contract of agreement. So you've gathered yourself as the ancient covenant of Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh. That's the template. You drew yourself out, Moshe. You are neither here nor there as you're the sovereign nation. You're passing from one state to another. You're changing. You've drawn near to yourself through your approach. You are now in the midst of yourself. You are the host through incline and decline. You are now clasping your hands as completed. Applause. That's what that verse says. Applaud yourself. Clasp your hands. You've completed the light journey by drawing yourself out. You are now a sovereign nation, and you're called departed. You are now from the camp. You're now pitched. Yah, pitch, and roll. The last word is pitched. You've now sealed yourself. The ark is completed. Second occurrence, and then I'm going to let you go. Second occurrence in Habakkuk 2:4. You don't need to go there unless you want to go there. I can walk right through it. It says, "Behold, proud, not, but it's not low. It just means though upright, the soul, him just faith shall live." It's going like, oh my goodness, it's the universal soul in the second occurrence. Behold, hine, the proud, the honor, the upright. They are the taught of the absolute. They are the just. They are the straight. They are the refreshed. They are the soul, the divine inspiration of being breathed upon. They are the expanse. They again are the just and the upright. They are the trusted, the trust, the firm, the faithful. They are Iye. They shall live. They are life.
Amen.
Amen.
The universal soul is being. You have to build, make love, to know what it is as a universal soul, to be called starship, to know that you're a celestial body and you're simply traversing the earth as a celestial star. You're more than the reflection of the mirror, unless your mirror is really deep. So the trust of universal soul is being, right? To comprehend and conceive victory, we're going to have to concede to victory.
Amen. So what I wanted to share, the reason why I wanted to share it was with this word, how amazing and befitting it is that since it does mean up, Ein and Lamed, his head's in the way.
Sorry, the head's in the way.
Ein and Lamed, these two letters when they come together means to ascend to the highest, to be the highest. And Pei, it's connected to mouth, but it's connected to language. It literally is connected to language, the language of the heart, but also a language as in a tongue. So what is it that allows us to ascend, to become the highest? A language that then speaks as the language of the heart that brings us into the revelation of ascension. A literal tongue that does that. That's the Hebrew and the Aramaic language. Sanskrit is in there as well. I just don't know the language, or if I did, I'd probably be teaching that too. I'd probably bring all three of them in because it does the same thing. So in this whole process of going up, I wanted to share a word that is connected to this. And you guys, some of you may know this term. Have you heard the word aliyah? Anybody know the aliyah and with Jewish people? Do you guys know what that connected to Jewish people? It means to make the journey to the homeland. So when you hear people say that they're making aliyah, they're making a journey from where they've been dispersed back to Israel. That's what that term is. However, that is more of the same. So I was sharing with Rick that one of the things that I saw with Moshe, and we had this wonderful conversation about Moshe and when he struck the rock. But the thing that I saw when I was walking through it is that there was no desire to cross over into the promised land, because that was more of the same. Moshe, when he went up and he saw what was up and beyond, and hence why he came down shining, because he had moved in dimension. So he came down to teach the people how to move up in dimension, and they did not want to. They wanted more of the same. They wanted to go and possess a land in the lower density. He didn't want more of the same. He saw what was up.
I need to go a little bit further when you're finished.
So, Aliyah. To spell Aliyah is Ein Lamed Yod He. To ascend as God. To ascend, to go up in order, which is the work that is then revealed that you are God. Aliyah. It means literally to go up, but they cross over to go back home, as in the land mass known as Israel. It's like
there's a perfect segue.
But I wanted the word that I wanted to land on this, because the word in that very first verse in 1444, Aliyah was spelled this way, and this is Lamed, Ein Lamed, Vav, Tav. So it went from Aliyah to Le Aliot. So the Lamed in the front here, there's authority here. This means to ascend. If you took this out and just had lot, this is another word for no or not. What is this saying? Mm-hmm. It is saying to ascend out of what is not.
You're moving into,
we go up and we move out of what is not. So that is Aliyah. That's why I wanted to talk about that, because I saw it and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so amazing.
You'll connect. You need to listen to what Rick shares so you can connect with the land of not and the land of what is, right? And so you can kind of connect this. Again, this is moving really quickly, but I want to, so very powerful in this. And if you can see it, again, how do you touch everything in an hour? It's impossible to, I got to skim the verse. We can see it, we can say it, and we can only share from a perspective. And there's so many connectors here. Like, so Carrie even said that, she said, the return to Israel. Well, this word is the language of Yod Shin Resh Vav Nun. This is called the upright one. And it's the poetic name for Israel. And it means it's where we get smooth, straight, uprightness.
Oh, this is Yeshurun.
Yeshurun. That is the poetic name for the upright ones. Upright, the mast must be erected. That is Israel right there. This, by definition, is the word for righteousness. And I said in that second reading that we just read,
it's Yasher. You guys have heard us talk about Yasher connected to Asher.
Right.
Asherah.
Because what's happened, where it took me this morning, like, oh my goodness. So and Habakkuk 2:4, behold, the nobility, the honor is now upright. That is the word for what this is. This is the vibration. And it means just as straight as justice. So we need to break down the word justice before we move any further. Just means conforming to standards as a stand of rules in accordance to perfect harmony as completed. That's peace. Nobility's peace prize is coming in. I already had this together, and the spirit whacked me sideways. When I stood up, I almost fell down because it was coming in so heavy. The frequency, I was going like, whoo, I had to go lay down. The peace prize of the Nobel Peace Prize is coming in this vibration as called the just. The just is the same word for trust. It's where we get the word jurist from. If you know that you are the counsel and the jurist and the magistrate, well done. You are about to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. Jurist, by definition, it's where we get the word in Latin, ius. That's Jesus. The jurist is Jesus in Latin. So the jury is still out until you realize it's you. Ius, Jesus, is found. It's only Latin. It's not a Hebrew or Greek word. It's just a Latin word, but it's right in its own etymology to say the jurist is this. This is the just. This is the trust. Has to be found through the language of juris, which means right, legal right of authority, the law, place where justice is administered, the court of justice, literally sacred formula, the law. So even in Latin, Jesus, as Yeshua, the language of begetting yourself, as knowing what it is as a vibration is the language of just and upright and trust.
And this is why we look at things at the vibratory frequency as not a noun.
Not a noun.
Not a noun. It's an action.
Right.
It's a frequency.
So everything that is not is about to be realized. Everything that is true as its essence, as Hayah, as being, is about to be what it is. They're coming in. These ones that have found themselves in the land of not to realize it's all been a charade. It's all been and it's been fun, don't get me wrong. Difficult to move through the illusion. This had to be found to produce the trust, the sacred order that allows us to be under something now in its right intention. No longer for contortion, no longer for manipulation, no longer to imprison you. If you so choose to come out of this trust that's being established, it will trust you to become the founders and the foundation as trusted, as family. That's what's coming in, to give us the opportunity to come into the family trust through the sacred vault in the 5D that's been hidden. No one can get through the vault. Only those that know how to trust themselves. They've gone into it, now we're pulling it down. This coming down by going up, by the return home, we're pulling home down into this construct to say, this is the vibration of a celestial sphere. This is the vibration of absolute. This is the vibration of Tabat. One earth vessel, one space vessel, one starship is now completed as Ness. This is the sovereign sail, the wings. This is the high. This is the ensign. This is the mark of absolute. You are the one measure of the arc potential in the earth. No longer separated, no longer in duality. The sacred marriage is contracted in one standing. Constitution.
I love that. So in the process of doing that, everything that is not will collapse in on itself and will cease to be.
Everything that is not.
The counterfeit cannot be, because all that will remain is that which is real.
We're moving into an opportunity in a window that the teachers are going to come and they're going to show us what is and what is not. And everything that people choose to stay in the not, it will start to disintegrate. Mm-hmm. The earth will go back into its original intent to become a starship, to contain celestial bodies once again. That's the origin of Adama, the sacred intention.
So good. Man, I felt that. I felt that.
So I pray that made sense. Difficult to pull down 5D and translate it to 4D and bring it to the 3D and express it through 2D. It's arduous. And then to back engineer it without reading, like, this is no script. I'm not reading this from anywhere other than going in for 12 years now to extrapolate out through the spirit to say, it, like, you got to see this, son. You got to see this. And don't be intimidated in your speech. Don't be concerned about it sounding like tomfoolery or nonsense. Frankly, I don't give a rip about that. I don't care what people think of me. I never have. But I'm doing this for family. It's my pleasure and my honor as being up to bring this down. Amen, amen.
Amen, amen.
Yeah, I before you go, I will say that there is.
Before I go?
Before you go, before you click that up.
I was like, am I going somewhere?
Yeah, I need to. The spirit's like touching on this is that we have just entered where it took me to in this language of the Nobel Peace Prize.
Sorry, Alan. I think I took your hand down.
That it took me to the language of 10, and 10 by definition, because it's like, again, going back into the
word 10.
Well, the name, yeah, deca, and so 10 in Greek is deca, and so I just want to say this really quickly, that there's a decalogue, which means the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments means the 10 admirals, commander and chief. And so when you go into this vibration, the 10 admirals are coming in. But what are the 10 admirals? This goes to Daniel 7:24, the 10 crowns. This is what the Spirit showed me today. So I want to release this vibration with the intent. I don't need to break it down, but so deca means 10, and a decahedron means the ability to seat as the base in the chair. It means 10 faces. Decahedron means the seat.
That's also the 10 tag-ins on the Akkadian flame letters, which are the 10 crowns.
There you go. So the word for 10 is ayin shin resh, and it means to accumulate all the digits to one absolute. That's the 10. 10 by vibration in Aramaic, it's the exact same spelling as R, but it means there's only 6 occurrences of it, and the last 2 are in 724 Daniel. So the 2 occurrences are in 724 Daniel. And really, when you break down the crown, it means the circle of fire around your head. The Nobel Peace Prize is awarded to the admirals, to this. They are coming. The circle of 10, one crowning fire is about to be released in the earth for those that have accredited the Constitution of Resolve. In the vibration of Daniel, it's talking about the 10 horns, but it's saying these are the 10, or they're collapsing upon themselves. And it's not like there's 10 admirals. It's those that have equated to speak this vibration. These, and so here's what the verse says in English. Horns, 10 from the kingdom. 10 kings shall rise. Another shall rise. He shall be different from the first 3. He will be called the king of humility. This is what's coming into the earth. The humble, the meek shall inherit the earth. This is the order of the 10 crowns that will collapse upon themselves and cause a ring of fire around these that are those that are the Malachim. These are the Kum, and that's the word stand. Constitution is used twice in this verse, and also the word for Deka or for the measure of 10 said twice in this verse as well. So this is the Malkuta. This is the kingdom coming down to crown them. The Nobel Peace Prize is awarded in March, which means majesty, nobility.
Well, and that makes sense because that's exactly when we're at the equinox.
So that's all I wanted to share. I just want to make sure I got that out. I just want to be obedient to the Spirit because the Spirit just said, I mean, you need to release that this is, and again, I did not do it a service because we don't have time to go here, but the vibration is right here. The intention is here. I release the intention. It says that the past and the future are now present in this verse. It got the word for you are now, kadmon is here in the verse. You are now the 3 that have become 1 in this verse. 2 kingdoms are coming down to enclose as 1. They shall rise as 1. They shall be different. They shall be seen as altered and changed in the earth. They are the first. They are the 3. They are brought into the measure. They are the kings and the queens. These are brought down, and they will bring down humility in the earth. They will bring the measure of what humility truly is in the earth. The power of revelation seen through the inculcative walk of the mouth's teachings. This is the
sacred language.
The sacred language
of authority.
And that's how it ends.
That's so amazing.
Daniel 7:4. You can look at it yourself if you choose to go into it.
It's so good. I know, Rick. Hallelujah. Totally. Hallelujah.